Now, most of you already know that most stocks locally in, of course, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange have been dropping sharply, and this, of course, it is, of course, aligned or as a result of our economy not doing that well. I mean, load shedding, you know that it's one of the concerns that is hurting companies so bad in a way that, of course, even when they report their earnings, they are seriously, or we are seeing this load shedding really hurting them so bad when it comes to their earnings or financials. Now, with that, there are other companies, or there are a couple of companies that, though we are seeing most companies being hurt by the current economic conditions, they continue to thrive, which obviously it is also good to say that at least seeing, of course, some of the companies that are in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange doing well. I mean, there are companies that, ladies and gents, especially this company that I want to talk to you about on this video, which just hit a 52-week high on a Friday. I mean, this is a company that I've discussed with you, and the first time I bought this company, I think it was the early days of this YouTube channel, I told you, or we were discussing this stock a lot, and of course I sold it back in 2020, then bought it back late last year in 2021, which obviously I also did a video to say that I'm going to buy that stock, of which I'm glad, because on that stock right now I'm sitting at almost 20%, or I'm up over 19%, which is something that is incredible, and meaning that the money, or the kind of money that I've put onto this stock, it has grown by over 19%, which is very interesting and nice to see, because this especially is good because it is even beating inflation, or the kind of holdings or the kind of returns I'm seeing on this stock beats inflation, which is something that obviously as an investor, you know that you always try to strive to find those kind of investments that obviously will beat inflation, because real interest, most of you know that it's nominal interest minus inflation, which is something that when I take 19% minus the 7%, which is our current inflation in South Africa, it gives me 12%, which is something that obviously makes me to be really excited, because my real interest, in fact, on the stock is 12%. But of course, before we dig deep into this video, you already know this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice. You know, I really appreciate you can just hit the like button if you are enjoying, or if you do enjoy the content that I'll be giving you about this 10.5 billion rand stock that just hit a 52-week high last week Friday, which is something that is incredible. So without a waste of time, the stock that I'm talking or telling you about is none other than Sun International. Now, Sun International, you will know that it is a stock that, of course, last week or week before last, we of course discussed this stock, of course, looking at their 2022 financials or earnings, which were, ladies and gents, back towards pre-COVID levels. I mean, most of you already know that the traveling and leisure industry, or the industry which Sun International belongs to, which is the traveling and leisure industry, was heavily hit by the pandemic, where we saw, or which resulted in stocks in this industry dropping sharply in terms of the share prices, due to the fact that, of course, there were hard lockdown imposed, people were restricted from traveling, they could not go to hotels and whatnot, which that, ladies and gents, resulted in most stocks, or all stocks in the traveling and leisure industry, to feel the hit, which resulted in the share prices of these stocks to fall sharply. Now, one of the reasons which made me to come back and buy this stock and even do a video about it was, of course, the opening up, which we saw, of course, all over the world, in countries opening up to tourists, because as I've said, these stocks was hurt in terms of the share price due to the hard lockdowns, restrictions for people traveling. Now, when the open up happens, obviously these stocks are set to recover, which is why I knew that since Sun International, though it was hurt during the hard lockdown, or during those times where people are restricted, but they were trying to, of course, they were not doing that bad, but they were resilient throughout those moments. I knew that this was a stock in the traveling and leisure industry in South Africa where I need to put my money in, because it is a company that obviously tried its best to, of course, hold up through the difficult times. And of course, now we are seeing, of course, the rewards, of course, coming from this stock. As like I said, on Friday, it hit a 52-week high of over 41 rands as seen on the screen. Sun International, yes, I think when I bought it, my average is around 34 rands there, which is of course a good price, looking at the fact that this stock right now, or on Friday when the market closed, it was trading over 40 rands per share. And I'm happy because I saw on the streets of Twitter someone was also celebrating their returns onto this stock, saying that it continues to do very well. Now, one of the things that also makes Sun International even more interesting is, of course, last year they resumed paying their dividends, and now this came after, I think they had stopped paying dividends, I think back in 2016, which obviously to get to see them resuming paying dividends from last year was something that is good, because as in the screen, notice that this company, Sun International, has got a dividend yield of around 6% or 5.97% on Friday when the market closed. This was its dividend yield. So not only are we reaping the good returns from this stock, but we know that if you are owning this stock, you are definitely going to also earn some good dividends, which obviously those of you that don't know what dividends are, this is the money that the company pays to its shareholders as a token of appreciation of owning a stock. So we are also going to, of course, very soon, or this year, we are still going to get dividends coming from Sun International, which obviously they are, or it's currently at, of course, almost 6% relative to where Sun International is currently trading at. Sun International is trading at 40 rands, then it's that, of course, the dividend yield is roughly around 6% or 5.97%, which obviously you can see that it's good dividend, especially to those that buy Sun International or bought Sun International towards its 52-week low of around 25 rands per share. So I was very excited to see Sun International, of course, finishing the week up over 9%, and year to date we saw see on the screen, you will see that Sun International has went up by over 12%. So this is something that is incredible. And of course, to those of you that bought the stock last year, maybe especially after the video I made of saying that I'm going to buy the stock, are definitely enjoying, or should be enjoying, the kind of returns that you're generating or seeing on this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me and Sun International. It is a stock that, ladies and gents, though I am seeing these kind of returns, I'm not willing to sell it anytime soon, because Sun International, it is a company that continues having plans to expand to other African countries, which I believe that will also grow their revenues, which is something that is incredible. And looking at the fact that they also pay dividend, it is something that obviously it is a good thing. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in the stock market investing journey. Before you buy stocks or any other stock, including Sun International, it is always wise that you do your own due diligence, so that at least you don't get, or you don't panic sell when maybe you see maybe some drops in some of the stocks you own. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.